Now, as we continue in our studies on rest in Christ, this one is Restless and Rebellious. And we're given a lot of material from the book of Numbers. Numbers 11, Numbers 12, Numbers 30, Numbers 14, and so on. And it's not surprising that we repeat many times words about murmuring and grumbling and complaining and being simply rebellious, not experiencing God's rest. And this experience of the Israelites there in the wilderness is something that really should speak to us in our lives today. Are we restless? Are we also rebellious? Well, you need to answer those kinds of questions for yourself. First of all, we hear about in Numbers 11 that they are complaining, suffering because they don't get the right food in the desert. All they get is, and the words are very interesting, this manna. We are tired of this manna, even though when it first appears, it seems to be absolutely delicious. A great description of what it tasted like and what it looked like and so on, and how useful it was in various ways that they could prepare it. But they are sick and tired of this manna, and we want something different to eat. It talks about them wanting to please themselves and their food desires, I suppose you could say it like that. Most of all, they want some meat. And of course, in the end, God provides them with so much meat in the forms of quails that they are actually sick, literally, by eating so much of that. Miriam and Aaron pile in on Moses. They complain in Numbers 12 about him marrying an Ethiopian woman. Is that the first example here we get of racism in terms of a marriage situation? I don't know. That's something to look at. But why did they complain about that? Was it because we need to keep ourselves to ourselves as Israelites, and you shouldn't be marrying somebody foreign and all the rest of that? And as a result, God takes a very dim view of that, and Miriam is struck with leprosy because of this complaining. 10 of the 12 explorers who go into Canaan come back and give a very negative report there in Numbers 13. They say, yeah, it's a wonderful country. It's absolutely fabulous. Look at all the food that we brought, these huge clusters of grapes and everything, but we don't want to go in there. There's just so many big people living in all these big towns. We would never be able to defeat them. We can't win against them. Lord, why did you bring us out here? Time and time again, those people are saying to Moses, was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us out here to die? Why can't we go back home? And they decide actually that they do want to go back home. Numbers 14. They even want to stone Joshua and Caleb, the ones who brought back the good report from the land of Canaan. They simply don't want to follow God's commands. And so God says, okay, back into the desert until you've learned your lesson, till you've learned how these things work, because you're obviously not ready. And they say, okay, no, we've changed our minds. We'll go up, we'll go into Canaan, and we'll go there, we'll fight, we'll invade, we'll take out all these enemies and everything. And God says, no, I won't go with you if you do that. They said, no, we learned, and we're going to. He says, no, go back. And yet they don't listen again, and they go ahead and attack, and the Amalekites come out. And the Israelites are defeated and they have to run away. And some get slaughtered in the process. So this aspect of almost being not just restless and upset about things, but really in rebellion against God is what comes through in this particular study. They change their minds. They don't want to know. They say one thing, they do another. They complain and complain and complain until even Moses says, Lord, I need help here. And comes to the point where God says, okay, stand aside, Moses. I'm going to get rid of these people and you will be the leader of a new people of God. And aren't we supposed to say, yes, Lord, whatever you say, Lord, that's right. Moses says, Lord, think of your reputation. All these surrounding nations will say, see, he couldn't preserve his people, and he did take them out in the desert to die. So, even there, Moses has a wonderful and a close relationship with God, one that really does respect God and his reputation, unlike all these complaining people. I leave it for you to think about what side you should be on.